My wife cheated and left me when I was mourning my parents' passing. Now she is running back to me after finding out I'm inheriting $15 million. When Mom and Dad died in that car crash, I was destroyed. The funeral was on a Tuesday. By Friday, Amara said she needed space to process everything. She went to stay with her sister for just a few days. Those few days turned into a week, then 2 weeks. She barely answered my calls. When she did, she sounded distant, distracted. I was grieving alone in our apartment. Surrounded by sympathy cards I couldn't bring myself to open. 3 weeks after the funeral, her sister accidentally sent me a photo in a group chat. It was meant for someone else. Amara and some guy I'd never seen before, sitting at a beachside bar, both of them laughing. She was wearing the sundress I bought her for our anniversary. I just stared at my phone for an hour. Couldn't even cry anymore. I'd run out of tears. She came back the next day to grab her stuff. I asked her who he was. She didn't even try to lie. Just said, "Does it really matter?" Then she told me she couldn't handle my depression right now, that I'd become too much for her to deal with. She left her wedding ring on the kitchen counter next to the coffee maker and walked out. I didn't fight it, didn't have the energy. The next 4 months were the darkest of my life. I stopped showing up to work and got fired after 2 weeks, stopped answering my phone entirely. My sister checked on me a couple times, but she was dealing with her own grief and had her kids to worry about. So I told her I was fine, and she believed me because she needed to. I lived off instant ramen and whatever I could order without leaving the apartment. My parents' lawyer, Mr. Callahan, kept calling about estate matters. I let every call go to voicemail. He left messages saying there were important documents I needed to sign, time-sensitive matters to discuss. I deleted them all. Finally, last month, he showed up at my apartment, knocked for 10 minutes straight until I opened the door. He took one look at me, my overgrown beard and the mess behind me, and said, "Son, I'm not leaving until you come to my office." I went the next day, mostly to make him stop bothering me. I figured it was just the house and maybe some savings to split with my sister. I barely listened as he went through papers talking about assets and liquidation and market value. Then he slid a document across his desk. Dad's software company had been in acquisition talks before the accident. The deal closed 3 weeks after the funeral. The buyer's payment just cleared escrow. $15.2 million split equally between me and my sister. I thought he was joking. He showed me the bank statements. The money was already transferred. I was sitting there in my stained hoodie looking at numbers I couldn't process. I didn't tell anyone. Not even my sister knew the exact amount yet since she'd been avoiding the lawyer too. Something in me clicked that day. I wasn't going to let Amara's abandonment and my parents' death define the rest of my life. I got myself together, started therapy twice a week, went back to my old gym, applied for jobs, and got hired at a better company than before. Bought new clothes, finally cleaned the apartment, started living again. But I kept the inheritance quiet. Told my sister not to post anything on social media about it. She agreed since we both wanted privacy while grieving. Then, 3 days ago, my sister forgot our agreement. She was excited about finally being able to afford her dream house. So she posted on Facebook about unexpected blessings and thanked Mom and Dad for securing our futures. Didn't mention the amount, but enough people knew about Dad's company that they could guess. Yesterday morning, I got a text from Amara. First one in 4 months. "Can we talk? I miss you." I didn't respond. That evening, she showed up at my door. Hair done, makeup perfect, wearing a dress I'd never seen before. She hugged me before I could stop her. "I'm glad we can finally stop this break." "Break? Amara, you left me. We're divorced." She laughed, confused. "Baby, you texted me last night. You said you were ready to talk." I haven't texted her in 4 months. She pulled out her phone, showing me our conversation. Messages I never sent. Recent ones. "You said you missed me." Someone was texting her as me, or she'd created them somehow, but she believed they were real. "Why are you pretending?" she whispered. Then my actual phone buzzed in my pocket with a text from her number that said, "Stop lying to me." I pulled out my phone and showed her the screen. "Those aren't my texts, Amara." She blinked at me like I'd just spoken another language. Her perfectly shaped eyebrows pulled together in what was probably supposed to look like genuine confusion. "What do you mean? We've been talking for weeks." "We haven't talked in 4 months. I never sent you anything." I stepped back from the doorway, keeping my hand on the door frame. No way was she coming inside. The last time she was in this apartment, she took her clothes and left her wedding ring next to my coffee maker like it was spare change. Her face crumpled. The tears started instantly, like she had them ready to go, like she'd practiced in the car. "I don't understand. You said you forgave me. You said you wanted to try again. Show me the messages." She held out her phone with a shaking hand. I scrolled through the conversation thread with my name at the top. Dozens of texts supposedly from me, all saying things I'd never say. Stuff about missing her, about wanting her back, about how I understood why she needed space. Real sappy garbage. The timestamps went back 3 weeks. I opened my Carrier app right there on my phone while she watched, pulled up my message logs, scrolled to her contact. The last message sent was from 4 months ago, the day after she left. I'd texted asking if she was okay. She never responded. I turned my screen toward her. Look, 0 messages to your number since you walked out. She stared at my phone. The screen light reflected in her eyes. Her crying stopped like someone flipped a switch. Her eyes went from the screen to my face and back again. I could literally see the math happening behind her eyes, watching her try to figure out which lie would work now. Maybe there's a glitch, she said, but her voice had changed, flatter. The emotion drained right out of it. There's no glitch. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, smearing her mascara. When she looked at me again, the tears were gone, but something else had replaced them. Desperation, maybe. Or calculation. Okay, so maybe I misread some things, she said quickly. The words came out in a rush. Maybe I got confused about who was texting me, but my feelings are real. I miss you. I made a mistake. What mistake exactly? She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Leaving. I shouldn't have left when you needed me. Who was the guy in the beach photo? Her whole body went rigid. 3 seconds of pure silence. You could hear someone's TV through the apartment wall. Some game show with canned laughter. A car alarm went off somewhere in the parking lot. That was nothing, she finally said. It was a brief mistake. I regret it. What's his name? Jordan. She said it like the word hurt coming out, like she was coughing up glass. When did it end? 2 months ago. I swear, it's been over for 2 months. I pulled up Facebook on my phone, found my sister's post from 3 days ago about the unexpected blessing and thanking our parents, scrolled to the comments, turned the phone toward Amara. Her comment was right there with 3 heart emojis. So happy for you guys. Timestamp. 3 days ago, 2:47 p.m. You commented on this, I said. Then you texted me for the first time in 4 months exactly 6 hours later, at 8:53 p.m. She stared at the screen. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. She looked like a fish. What changed in the last 3 days that made you suddenly miss me? I've been thinking about you for weeks, I told you, after 4 months of silence. Right after seeing my sister's post about our parents securing our futures. That's not why. Get off my doorstep, Amara. Baby, please. Just let me come inside so we can talk properly. No, I made a mistake, okay? Her voice cracked again, but this time it sounded forced, rehearsed. Jordan was a mistake, but he's still in my life and it's complicated. But I swear it's not romantic anymore. I want to try again with my actual husband, because I made a terrible mistake. I almost laughed. The sound came out more like a cough. Your actual husband? You left your wedding ring next to my coffee maker 4 months ago. I was grieving too. I wasn't thinking straight. You were thinking straight enough to go to the beach with Jordan 3 weeks after my parents died. That wasn't. I needed support. What changed this week, Amara? Specifically this week, she stammered. Her hands fluttered uselessly. I've had time for reflection. Growth. I realized what I lost when I lost you. I looked at her standing there in her new dress with her fresh manicure and her rehearsed lines, and I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, nothing. It was like looking at a stranger. Goodbye, Amara. I shut the door. She knocked for a while, started soft, then got louder. Then she was pounding, then yelling through the door about how I was being immature and cruel, and we needed to talk like adults. I turned on the TV and drowned her out. After 20 minutes, she stopped. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I went looking. The beach photo was still in that group chat from months ago. I zoomed in on the guy's face, screenshotted it, ran it through reverse image search. Nothing useful came up, but Amara's sister had tagged the location in the original post, Marina del Rey. I opened Instagram, searched Marina del Rey with the date from 4 months ago, scrolled through public posts, found one from a bar called The Dock House. Photo of the same beachside view, same umbrellas, same setup. Checked who'd tagged the location that day. Found him on the 3rd try. Jordan Vance. Private account. But his profile picture matched the guy from the photo. Same jawline, same hair. I sent a follow request from my burner account I use for looking at gym content. Waited. He accepted within 10 minutes. Clearly not picky about his followers. His recent posts told me everything I needed to know. Photos at expensive cocktail bars in West Hollywood. One at a rooftop place in downtown LA. Wearing a new leather jacket in 3 different posts from different angles like he wanted to make sure everyone saw it. Designer sunglasses. Fancy watch. But when you looked closer, the tagged locations were budget motels in North Hollywood and Van Nuys, extended stays and weekly rates type places. His older posts from 6 months back showed a different story. Photos of him asking friends in the comments for rent money, posting about tough times and temporary setbacks, sharing Venmo links asking for help with utilities. His bio said, entrepreneur, investor, living my best life. But the comments on his posts told the real story. Friends asking when he'd pay them back. Someone asking if he still needed that job at their uncle's shop. Jordan responding with vague promises and soon bro type answers. Then I saw the post from 2 days ago. Just a photo of a sunset over the ocean with a caption, good things come to those who wait. Patience pays off. The comments were full of people asking what he meant, asking if he got a new job or won the lottery. Jordan didn't respond to any of them. I stared at that post for a long time. Then I got an idea. I created a new fake account. made it look like a woman's profile, used some stock photos from a lifestyle blog, followed a bunch of yoga and wellness accounts to make it seem real, gave her a basic name, posted a few generic stories about coffee and sunsets. Then I sent Jordan a DM. "Hey, I'm friends with Amara. Just wanted to say congrats on working things out with her. She seems really happy." I didn't expect him to respond. Figured he'd ignore some random account, but he responded in 4 minutes. "Thanks. Yeah, it's been a journey, lol. She's finally handling her situation and then we're good to go." I stared at that message. My hands went cold. I typed back, "That's so great. She mentioned you've been so patient through everything. For real. But she promised we'd be set financially soon, so I just gotta stay patient while she handles her ex-husband situation. Dude doesn't even know what's coming, LMAO." My stomach dropped. I read it 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. That's amazing. She mentioned a number, but I forgot what it was. 200,000. That's my cut for supporting her through this whole thing. She gets the rest, obviously, but 200K is enough for me to actually start my business, you know? I've been waiting tables and doing Uber, but that's temporary. Once this comes through, I'm done with all that. I screenshotted everything. My hands were shaking. Then I called Amara. She answered on the first ring like she'd been waiting. "Hello?" Her voice was soft, hopeful. "I'm willing to meet and discuss things," I said, keeping my voice neutral, calm. "But I need complete honesty first." "Of course. Anything." She sounded breathless with hope. "I'll tell you everything. Whatever you want to know. Have you promised Jordan any money?" Silence. Dead air. I could hear her breathing, then a nervous laugh. "What? No. Why would you even ask that? Answer the question." "Jordan is delusional if he said that. He's been saying crazy things lately. I think he might have some kind of issue, honestly." I opened the screenshots, read her Jordan's exact messages word for word, every single thing about the $200,000 and handling her ex-husband's situation and being set financially. The silence stretched so long I thought she'd hung up. I pulled the phone away from my ear to check. Still connected. "Jordan misunderstood a hypothetical conversation," she finally said. Her voice had gone tight, controlled. "We were talking about what-ifs. He took it the wrong way. I'll clear it up with him. Here's what's going to happen," I said. "I'll meet you for coffee tomorrow, but Jordan needs to be there too, so we can all clear the air together." "That's unnecessary and weird. I'll talk to Jordan myself and straighten this out. It's non-negotiable, Amara. Jordan's there or I'm done with this conversation forever. You can't just demand this or nothing. You've got until tomorrow at 2 p.m. The Starbucks on Ventura Boulevard, the one near the Target. Bring Jordan or don't bother showing up." More silence. I could practically hear her mind working, weighing options, calculating angles, trying to figure out how to get what she wanted. "Fine," she said eventually. Her voice was ice. "I'll bring him. To prove there's nothing to hide. You'll see you're wrong about this." I hung up before she could say anything else. The next day, I got to the Starbucks 20 minutes early, picked a table in the back corner where I could see the entrance and both exits. Ordered a black coffee I didn't drink, just needed something to do with my hands. The place was pretty empty for a Thursday afternoon. A couple people on laptops, some teenager on her phone. The barista looked bored. Amara walked in at 1:58 p.m., alone. She was wearing jeans and a nice blouse, hair pulled back. Casual but put together. She scanned the room, saw me, and her face did something complicated. Smiled but worried at the same time. She walked over and sat down across from me without asking. "Jordan's coming," she said immediately. "He's just running a little late. Traffic." "You told him I'd be here?" She hesitated, looked down at the table. "I told him I was meeting a friend to clear some things up, some misunderstandings." "So no, you didn't tell him." "I didn't want him to feel ambushed. He's sensitive about confrontation." I sat back and waited. She fidgeted with her phone, glanced at the door every few seconds, tapped her nails on the table, finally got up and ordered a latte she didn't touch. At 2:14, Jordan walked in. I recognized him instantly from the Instagram photos. Leather jacket, designer sunglasses pushed up on his head, confident walk. He saw Amara and started toward our table, smiling. Then he saw me sitting across from her. His smile died. He stopped walking right in the middle of the aisle. Amara grabbed his arm before he could turn around. "Jordan, wait! What the hell is this?" He looked between us, his eyes wide. "Just sit down," she hissed. Her fingers were tight on his jacket sleeve. "Please." He sat, slowly, kept looking at me like I might explode. "What's going on, Amara?" "Thanks for coming," I said. My voice sounded calm. I wasn't calm. My heart was pounding. "I just wanted to clear up some confusion." Jordan looked at Amara. She wouldn't meet his eyes. He looked back at me. "Who is this?" "You know who I am," I said. His face went pale. Actually pale. Oh shit. "Yeah." Amara jumped in, her voice too bright. "Fake. I thought we could all just talk like adults and figure out where the miscommunication happened. Clear the air. No drama. What's your relationship with Amara?" I asked Jordan directly. He blinked, looked at her, back at me. His Adam's apple bobbed when he swallowed. "We're dating. We're in love." Amara made a small noise in the back of her throat. "And the $200,000? I asked. Jordan's whole face changed. He went from confused to trapped in half a second. His eyes darted to Amara. She was staring at him with pure panic. Amara's hand shot out and grabbed his wrist. hard. He got the wrong idea about something, she said quickly. I already told you that. Jordan pulled his wrist away from her. Wrong idea? You literally promised me. You misunderstood a hypothetical conversation, she snapped. Her voice had gone sharp. Bullshit. Jordan's voice rose. The teenager glanced over at us. The barista stopped wiping down the counter. You told me he owed you for years of emotional support. You said you deserved half of everything and you'd give me $200,000 to help us start fresh together. You said we'd move to San Diego and I could finally open my restaurant. Amara's face went bright red. I never said that. You're making things up. Jordan yanked out his phone, started scrolling with shaking hands. You think I'm stupid? I have the texts. I screenshotted them because I thought it was too good to be true. He turned his screen toward me. I leaned forward and read. Messages from Amara's number to Jordan, dated from last week. A whole conversation laying out everything. The inheritance amount. How much she expected to get from me. How much Jordan would receive for staying quiet and supporting her. How much she'd keep. Percentages. Numbers. A whole financial breakdown like a business plan. One message said, just be patient, baby. Once I handle him, we're set for life. You won't have to drive Uber anymore. Another one. He's so desperate and pathetic right now. He'll do anything to feel less alone. This is going to be easier than I thought. Amara lunged across the table for Jordan's phone. She actually lunged. Jordan jerked it back and she nearly fell out of her chair. Her latte tipped over and spilled across the table. Brown liquid everywhere. People were definitely staring now. Why did you really come back? I asked her. My voice was quiet. She looked at me. Her eyes were wild, mascara smudged, hair falling out of its tie. I told you why. The truth, Amara. I deserve financial compensation for what I went through, she said. The words came out in a rush, like she'd been holding them back and they finally burst through. I supported you before your parents died. I dealt with your grief after. I gave up months of my life dealing with your depression and your sadness and your constant moping. I shouldn't walk away empty-handed when there's money involved. That's not fair. You left me 3 weeks after my parents' funeral, and I suffered too. I lost sleep over it. I had stress. I put my own mental health at risk trying to be there for you. That has value. Real value. I deserve my fair share of what your parents left behind. She kept saying it. Fair share. Fair share. Like she'd convinced herself this made sense. Jordan was staring at her like he'd never seen her before. You said you loved me. I do love you, she said. But she didn't look at him when she said it. You used me. I gave you attention when nobody else would, Jordan. You should be grateful. Before me, you were eating ramen in your studio apartment, and your friends wouldn't even lend you money anymore. Grateful? His voice cracked. I waited 4 months for you. I turned down jobs because you said we'd be traveling soon. I maxed out my credit cards taking you out to nice places because you said it would all pay off, and I'd be repaid 10 times over. That was your choice. You promised me. I told you what you wanted to hear. That's literally all men want anyway. Jordan stood up. His chair scraped loud against the floor. The barista took a step toward us. You're insane. You actually think you deserve this money. I deserve more than you, she shot back, standing up too now. You're a broke loser who should be grateful I even looked at you. You have nothing. No job, no money, no prospects, just big dreams and empty pockets. And you're a manipulative. He stopped himself. Barely. His hands were shaking and balled into fists. The barista was definitely watching now. A couple people had their phones out, probably recording. Amara stood up too. What? Say it. Call me whatever you want, Jordan. It won't change the fact that you were never getting a cent from me. You were too stupid to see it from the beginning. You literally promised me $200,000 in writing. I told you what you wanted to hear. That's what men like you need. Pretty lies and big promises. You ate it up. You told me you loved me. I needed you to stay interested. You think I enjoyed spending time in your depressing motel room? You think I liked listening to your restaurant ideas that'll never happen? Jordan's face crumpled. For a second, I thought he might cry. I stood up. We need to take this outside. Now. How much are you actually getting? Jordan turned on me suddenly. His eyes were red. She said 15 million total. Is that true? Amara's eyes went wide. Jordan, shut up. Is it true? He demanded. 15 million? It's none of your business, Amara snapped. I wasted 4 months of my life on this. You owe me something. I deserve compensation. I don't owe you anything. You promised me. I promised you nothing that matters. The manager was walking toward us now, a middle-aged guy with a name tag. Folks, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're disturbing other customers. We're leaving, I said. We went to the parking lot. Jordan and Amara were still screaming at each other before we even got through the door. She was yelling about how he was pathetic and never had a real chance. He was yelling about emotional damages and lies and how she'd destroyed his life. They'd completely forgotten I was there. The parking lot was half empty. A guy walking to his car slowed down to watch us, then kept going when Jordan shot him a look. You owe me for 4 months, Jordan yelled. His voice echoed off the buildings. I could have been working a real job. I could have been dating someone real instead of being your secret side piece. Amara laughed in his face. sharp and mean. You couldn't get a real girlfriend if you tried. That's why you settled for me sneaking around with you in cheap motels and telling you lies. You said they were romantic. You said you liked that we had to hide. They were sad. You're sad. This whole thing is sad. You're a grown man sleeping on a mattress on the floor. You said you didn't care about money. I lied, obviously. How are you this stupid? Jordan stepped forward, and I moved between them. Back up, I said to him. He ignored me, looked around me at Amara. How much are you getting? He asked again. You said you legally deserved half since you were married when his parents died. I do deserve half, she said. I was his wife. I supported him. That's worth something in court. So $7.5 million, Jordan said. He was doing the math out loud. She gets $7.5 million and I get nothing? After everything? After I listened to her complain about you for 4 months? After I gave her money I didn't have? You get nothing because you were a means to an end, Amara said. Her voice was ice cold. You were someone to pass the time with, someone to make me feel better while I waited. I loved you. No, you loved the idea of money, just like I did. Difference is, I was smart enough to go for the real source. Jordan pulled out his phone. Amara immediately tensed. What are you doing? I'm texting your sister. She should know what kind of person you really are. Maybe she'll want to know you're trying to scam your ex-husband. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. Amara's hand shot out and smacked Jordan's phone right out of his hand. It flew through the air and hit the pavement hard. The screen shattered into a spiderweb pattern. Pieces of glass scattered across the asphalt. Jordan stared at it, then at her. His mouth hung open. You psycho! Amara slapped him. The sound was sharp and clean, loud. Jordan's head snapped to the side. A red mark bloomed on his cheek immediately. For a second, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. You manipulative bitch, Jordan said. His voice was quiet now, deadly quiet. You're pathetic, Amara said. They started yelling again, louder this time. Jordan calling her every name he could think of, saying she was a user and a liar and a snake. Amara screaming back that he was worthless, that he'd always been worthless, that she'd faked every smile and every nice word and every time she'd touched him. A car drove past slowly. The driver was staring. I let them go for another minute, watched them tear each other apart. It was almost fascinating in a horrible way. Then I said, how much money do you think I'm actually getting? They both stopped mid-sentence, turned to look at me like they'd forgotten I existed. Amara said 15 million total, Jordan said. He was breathing hard. 7.6 million was my half after splitting with my sister, I said. My voice was calm, steady. The day after I met with Mr. Callahan and found out about the inheritance, I called the grief counseling center where I've been going to therapy. I told them I wanted to make a donation. They have a program that provides free counseling to people who've lost family members and can't afford help. I donated my entire $7.6 million to that program. The transfer went through 3 weeks ago. It's gone. Irrevocable. I don't have any of the money anymore. Amara's face went completely blank, like I'd unplugged something inside her brain. Her mouth opened but no sound came out. Jordan started laughing, high-pitched and hysterical. He doubled over, hands on his knees, laughing so hard he couldn't breathe. You donated it? All of it? You gave away $7 million? Yes. Oh my God. Jordan straightened up, tears streaming down his face from laughing. She destroyed everything for nothing. You gave it all away. To charity. He looked at Amara. You traded your marriage for money that doesn't exist. You used me for money that doesn't exist. You left him when he was grieving for money that he gave away. You're a failure. You failed at everything. Amara's legs gave out. She just dropped, like someone cut her strings. She sat down hard on the curb, her hands on the concrete. Jordan kept laughing, looking down at her. This is perfect. This is actually perfect. You're sitting here with nothing. I've got nothing. He's got nothing. We all have nothing except he actually helped people and we just helped ourselves to misery. Amara didn't respond. She was staring at the asphalt between her feet. Her hands were shaking. Jordan picked up his broken phone. The screen was barely holding together, chunks of glass missing. He looked at it, then at Amara, then at me. You know what? This was worth it just to see her face right now. Worth every penny I wasted. He laughed again. Good luck with your life, Amara. Hope it was worth it. He walked to his car, some beat-up Honda with a dent in the side. Got in. The engine coughed before starting. He drove away. I walked to my car too, put my hand on the door handle, looked back once. Amara was still sitting on the curb next to her broken phone, staring at nothing, realizing she'd traded her marriage, her dignity, and her relationship for money that never existed. I got in my car and drove home.